Brutal loss, Mafia. That's all I can say to start. I am lost for words. We went a little late just because Jake and I needed to get our thoughts together after after such a disappointing loss. I mean, I've been saying all week, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, and I'm gonna steal a line that Mr. Podge over here, we were talking about it pre-show. Nobody crashes the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Sometimes they find a way to break our hearts, and this is just getting crazy. The Bills now sit in third place in the AFC East. They're at 6-3. I think the Dolphins have a half a game lead over the Jets. Yes, we sit in third place, but we're gonna get into it. Jake, let me just go through a couple things I got to get off my mind, and then I'm gonna throw it to you on each one of these points, okay? And you tell me your thoughts as well. I mean, we got 4th and 18 at the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. Cousins throws a 41-yard pass completion to Jefferson, and he makes a play that was just simply phenomenal. I mean, Cam Lewis has 2 hands on the ball. He uses 1 hand and somehow brings that down. So Jefferson had a day. I mean, he had a day, and I want to say that it felt like everything thrown to him was contested. He's just that good and made that many plays. I mean, I felt the secondary, they were on him. He just was better and just took it personal. It's like, I'm going to win this game. Let me take you guys, I'll put you on my back. And those plays were incredible. Every one of them that he made today.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. He's the best receiver in football. First off, Justin Jefferson is another level of great at the receiver position. There's Justin Jefferson. And then, I mean, Stephon Diggs is in that elite category, but Justin Jefferson is the top of the elite. I mean, he's the best of the best. There's no one better out there right now in the NFL. I mean, the guy just registered his 20th 100-yard season within his first 3 years. No one in NFL history has done that. That includes Randy Moss. That includes Odell Beckham. And they had a bunch of names on the screen there, all potential Hall of Fame receivers. This guy is incredible. The plays he made today were huge, and a guy said it too. I was watching a different show, and he put in the comments, he said, Justin Jefferson came out here and he played to win. Stephon Diggs, I think he was playing to win, but he was also playing with a little bit of vengeance in his heart because he wanted to, go off and be the better guy between him and Justin Jefferson. So it sucks. It really does. It stings. I thought Cam Lewis was going to come down with that pick, and that was ball game, but the Vikings had other plans, and it happened. We had this game won. We had the game won right from the. I felt like going into the second half, that's all we had to do was just put a nail in the coffin, and we couldn't do it. We let this team hang around, and God, Mike, I feel like the sequence of emotions I felt throughout the entire game. It's I feel like I'm a mental disaster right now. I need to be put in a psych ward or something because. Usually I'm pretty good too, maintaining my composure with these games, but this brought things out of me that I am not proud of. My God, it was brutal to say the least. And I was honestly at a loss for words. I had to just take a moment and sit there. My dad called me actually after the game, and I really didn't say I had nothing really to say to him. I just sort of let him vent to me. Normally I got more than, a few words to say. I couldn't muster out more than 3 words on that phone call. I was just so distraught and so shook up by this loss. And it just sucks losing this way. It was a great game. If you're an outsider, again, it's like the Chiefs game. If you're an outsider watching this, it's this is an incredible game of football. And I'm sure, as a fan, watching this game and just trying to watch some good football, it was awesome. But as a Bills fan, my God, it just absolutely kills you inside.
Yeah, I was getting texts left and right. Oh my God, what a game. And I'm thinking, not for me.
What a game.
Not for me. I mean, great as a fan, but we ended up on the other side. So they get that first down. That game was over if we stopped at 4th and 18. Cam Lewis, if he just comes in and just smacks the ball instead of trying to catch it, just knock the ball, game over.
Yep.
It was under 2 minutes to go. Well, they come down on that same drive. Looks like this thing's going to be over. And they get a stop. They end up getting a huge stop. 4th and goal at the half-yard line. They stop Kirk Cousins on a quarterback sneak. 41 seconds to go. We're going nuts. I don't know about you. We're like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And again, there's going to be a lot of armchair quarterbacks saying what we should have done, but the most fundamental play in football, most fundamental action on offense is the center snap to the quarterback. You have a 245, 250-pound guy, a beast at quarterback. You have a center who has a lot of chemistry with him. You snap the ball to him, he falls forward for any yardage. Any yardage is a 1 yard. Hell, get stopped at the half-yard line again. Now they have to call their final timeout. You do it one more time, game over. Now I know folks are saying, hey, take the safety. Okay, you take the safety. You now give them...
Not with how that offense was playing. No way. I don't put my defense back on the field, honestly, if I don't have to. Seriously.
They only need a field goal at that point. They only need a field goal. Some are saying, go back in shotgun. Okay, I've seen a lot of bad things happen in shotgun as well. So I think it was the right call. Just get the ball, go fall forward, man. Fall forward. And then you got Reggie Gilliam behind you, pushing you. But, damn, get the snap from the center first before you do anything. Talk to me. Am I wrong, Jake? Is that not the play? Was that not the call they should have done?
Absolutely. I mean, you just got to execute. That's been the name of the game these past 3 games is execution. And for whatever reason, in the second half, in big moments, and I won't even say the Packers game, I'll say the last 2 games, we just don't execute. We don't figure it out. We don't get it done. And good teams find a way to get it done. We're this close, Mike, and I feel like we're our own worst enemies at the end of the day. I mean, we have a chance to close out this game, fumbled snap. You have a chance to make an interception or just knock the ball down. Justin Jefferson comes up with the catch of the year. I mean, it just so many things back over and over and over and over again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Big L says it seems like there's a great big wall at the goal line that screws with Josh's mind. I don't know. Red, white, and Bills, a million other plays to run. That was the worst call. I disagree with you, Sean. I really do. So
not with Josh Allen.
No,
not with Josh
Allen. I totally disagree there. Screen pass, those can go terrible as well. So I don't know. I mean, give me the ball, fall forward 2 times. It seems pretty easy. Easy. So, there's going to be a lot said about those plays, but I think I just don't know how you can't. Your quarterback, who's done this since he was a kid, your center, who's done this since he was a kid, cannot get that exchange done. I mean, that's it. Just make sure you secure that ball. I don't know.
It's never been an issue. It's never been an issue. I mean, Greg Van Roten, we had issues with him, but there was some unfamiliarity there. With Mitch Morse, there haven't been fumbled snaps between him and Josh. That just doesn't really happen. So you expect it to just be a nice, simple call, fall forward, like you said, Mike. And I don't know. I don't know if it was Mitch Morse's fault. I don't know if it's Josh's fault. I put some blame on both of them. And God, I mean, to even think about the play again.
Even if he gets stuffed, or even, I don't know, if somehow they get him for a safety, which is a lot of people were saying, just take the safety and kick it. I mean, seriously, that just seemed like the safest play. And people are going to say whatever. You know, they're going to say, I should have thrown this, should have thrown that. Well, they throw that, and all of a sudden it's a pick six, or it's a bad play that goes the other way. You're going to be mad about that play. I just felt that was the easiest one to go. Mm-hmm. So I just disagree with a lot of what the folks are saying. But hey, that's my opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. So then, let me see, what else do I have problems with here? I'm just going through my list, and this is random order. So that's a big one right there. The game should be over. Are you kidding me? Bills go up 27-10. First play from scrimmage after the kickoff, late in the third. The Vikings get an 81-yard touchdown run. Dalvin Cook takes it 81 yards, first play. After you just go up 27-10. Momentum shift, momentum changer. You take away that 81 yards, and it feels like I'm talking about the Titans game of last year. Yeah. You take away that 81-yarder, and the Bills held them to 66 yards rushing, averaging 2.75 yards per carry. They were doing a fantastic job, but it only takes one mistake and you change the momentum of this game. And to me, that's inexcusable. Just can't have that happen. I know Dalvin Cook's a game breaker. That's what he is. But what are your thoughts on that one, Jake? 81 yards, first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, well, that sort of opened up the floodgates, because before that, we were doing an incredible job against one of the premier backs in the league. And as soon as that run happened, it seemed like they were doing whatever they wanted with us for the rest of the game in terms of running the football. There were a few plays where, we stuffed them in the backfield, but even so, Mike, like you go into the fourth quarter and overtime, I mean, they were getting, 5, 7, 8 yards a carry. No problems at all. That 81-yarder really did a lot more damage than even was seen, because right after that, it just seemed like the Vikings got momentum, and that offense was just picking us apart right after that. It was just broke us right down.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to the Vikings, man. They just kept coming at us. They would not stop believing that they could win this game. Kirk Cousins was making great throws, and Jefferson was making fantastic catches. But all that said, we still should have won this game. And then, so let's move on here. I got a couple more things on my list, and I'll throw it to you to go over your list.
Yeah.
So then Josh Allen, 2 interceptions. All right. So let's talk about this. 3rd and 2 at the 7. First of all, I felt like we had a lot of 2nd and 2s, a lot of 3rd and 2s all game, and we couldn't convert those. Pitiful, horrible, whatever's going on. Dorsey, get it fixed. But anyhow, let's talk about that. 3rd and 2 at the 7-yard line. And for me, I felt like we should have taken the 3. I think it was what was it at that point? Was it a 10-point game? Yeah, we would have went up 13. I'm thinking take 3.
Right.
They decide to go, and again, if they convert it, everyone's like, what, the greatest call ever. But I don't know how you felt about that. I know I'm okay that they're aggressive, because sometimes we are disappointed that they're not. But my first initial thought was take the 3. What about you?
That was my first initial thought, but when we went for it, I'm like, you know what? No, I love this. Let's be aggressive. Let's bury this team. I wanted us to drop 40 on them, win handily against this 7-1 team, and show that the Bills are back. So I was okay with the call. I understand the sentiment in taking 3, but at the end of the day, it's still a 2-score game at that point. You're up by 13 instead of 10 points, and sure, maybe it changes the way the game kind of goes. But for me, I was actually okay with that call. So, it was one of those things, and Josh mentioned it in his press conference. He's like, you know what? It's either you take a bad sack or you throw an interception. Now, the biggest issue was the fact that Pat Peterson took it back for a huge return. If he doesn't take that back for a big return, I mean, they're still getting the ball deep in their own territory, and, that could change some things too. So I think the biggest issue was that Pat Peterson just, he took it, 40 some odd yards after he picked it off. That was the biggest problem there.
Yeah, and he had two interceptions, the game winner as well, which takes me to the second one. So Josh does an amazing job. 2 rushes, gets the ball downfield in a hurry, in overtime, plenty of time on the clock. 1st and 20. First and 10 at the 20-yard line of the Vikings. He tries to throw one to Knox. Good defensive play. I mean, Knox had a shot at that, but I'm not going to blame him. It was a nice defensive play. So 2nd and 10 at the 20. Plenty of time. We got all our timeouts, 2 timeouts in overtime. And like Sean's saying here, I felt like there were underneath plays that, and I'm not sure when Sean was saying that Duke was wide open on 4th and 2. Oh, I guess the one we were just talking about.
On that very play. He's absolutely right. Yeah. I thought he was throwing to Duke. I'm like, oh my gosh, you got a walk-in touchdown here. Yeah. And instead he tries to force rolls out to the right, tries to force a throw, and just one you wish you had back. I'm okay with Josh trying to just trying to force one in the end zone there, just because it's like you got to get the points. There was no running lane, so we couldn't take it and run. So at that point, you got to throw the football into the end zone. You want to get a touchdown, right? So maybe you're hoping someone makes a play there. So I'm not terribly upset about that. Yeah, it stings a little bit because it's in the red zone. I think the worst part about that was, again, the fact that Pat Peterson took it downfield for as long as he did.
Yeah, I can live with that one, Jake. I agree. Like I said, my first instinct, take the points, and I wasn't horribly disappointed they went for it. But again, looking at Josh continues to miss guys that are open underneath, and then on the second INT, which ended the game, does a great job, gets us downfield. Like I said, it was 2nd and 10 at the 20. We had 2 timeouts, plenty of time. Mm-hmm. Why take another? He took a second shot in the end zone, and that throw was absolutely horrible. I don't know what he saw. I really don't know what he saw.
I'm not sure. I think it was shout out to Patrick Peterson, by the way. I talked about him a little in the pregame. Yep. He is looking like that Pat Peterson from years past that was so dominant. And, man, he really came up big for the Vikings in clutch moments today. So he played a hell of a game. And, he baited Josh on that last play. Josh thought he had something. And, again, underneath, Pat Peterson just comes in and easy pick, game over.
Yeah. So again, Josh really struggling. What is it now? 6 interceptions in his last 10 quarters,
Yeah, four of
something
them in
like
the red zone. Four of
something
them in
like
the red
that.
zone.
And we continue to not be able to score in the red zone. Just absolutely killing us. Last, I have 2 more. And then I already mentioned one. I said a lot of second and shorts, third and shorts that we just couldn't convert. And that's got to get fixed. But the other one I had a problem with is Singletary. Gets off to a great start and then fumbles the ball at the Vikings 27-yard line. Another missed opportunity for us.
Yeah.
That was brutal. It was close. I mean, there wasn't a good camera angle to overturn that. So I think whatever the call would have been, it would have stood. Right? I don't think if they called it down by contact or down that they would have overturned that. But just brutal. Another missed opportunity. So those are my 6 things I just had to get off the top of my head right away to talk about. Let me throw it to you for your list, and then we'll go some other directions as well.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's the tale of two halves. We came out, I thought we were playing really, really sound football. Josh looked good. He was getting the ball out quick. It was up tempo. We were doing some of those shorter, intermediate routes and whatnot. And Stephon Diggs was eating up, and Isaiah McKenzie looked good. And we were scheming him into the offense. And Duke Johnson had some nice returns, and just everything seemed to be going our way. And then we came out in the second half and just totally laid an egg. And whatever the Vikings did, whatever adjustments they made, I mean, they really did an awesome job. And a big shout out to them. We got absolutely bullied in the second half. I think up front, we didn't win the line of scrimmage. There were some good plays. It felt like, we were getting some penetration towards the end of the game. But something happened there in that third quarter. The Vikings just took full advantage of us. Justin Jefferson came down with some insane grabs. And yeah, a lot of them were contested, but he's just an absolute playmaker. And I don't know what you do to defend that. I mean, it's a tough situation. I think it really, again, it came down to the offense. We're not putting points on the board. You're settling. You're kicking field goals. You're not kicking field goals. And then when you don't elect to kick a field goal, you don't put points on the board. So that hurts too. And just too many missed opportunities. And it, again, just a tale of two halves. It's like play calling's good, and then play calling is atrocious. It looks like a rookie offensive coordinator out there in the second half. I don't know what it is. But we gotta figure it out, Mike.
Yeah, this is the 3rd game in a row I felt that we were outcoached in the second half. We had been up until that point. We had been a very good second half team, and once again they get. Can we win a damn coin toss, Jake, for once?
I know.
God dang, man! I know that every game this year, unless I'm wrong, unless I'm forgetting something, we've gotten the ball to start the game, and only one of them we actually did win the coin toss, and we decided to go with it. But in this game, we lose the coin toss. We lose the freaking coin toss in overtime. It's like, God damn, who's calling the coin tosses? Let's get one our way. But
Micah Hyde.
Was Micah Hyde the one out there?
Yeah, he was out there. Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyhow, yeah, 3 games in a row, we've been outcoached. It seems like I like this comment by Mr. Big Al. It says, hey, do we need to look at the running back coach? Something isn't clicking in the run game. It's crazy. The run game was working great in the first half. It was looking very, very good. They make adjustments. We don't. And all of a sudden now we're talking about the run game again. It's like, what happened from the first half to the second? Obviously, 3 halves in a row where they went into halftime. Coaches made adjustments and outcoached us. It's plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's crazy. Devin Singletary had a 20-yard run at the beginning of the game. He ended up with 47 yards on the day. So if that says anything, I mean, it was pitiful. Absolutely pitiful after that.
Yeah. Red, White, and Bill says we ran the same scheme all game in the run. Yeah.
We did.
Where's the adjustments, man? Where's the adjustments? What else you got, Jake?
Just I think a lot of people, this isn't even really like a thing to talk about with the game itself. I just think looking from the outside in, a lot of people are going to try to put this all on Josh. I think this is a complete meltdown from the entire team. Starts up top with coaching. No adjustments in the second half. We were totally outcoached in the second half. So first off, you need the coaching to put you in the right position to win the game. So that right there, it went from being like A-level status to just a total F. An F minus, if I can even give it that, in the second half. Then you have Josh Allen, who, I mean, you can't sit there and tell me that if Case Keenum starts this game, we're actually going to win it. I mean, we might have been in the game for a little bit, but no chance are we in a position where we're, leading the Vikings 27-10 and just totally dominating them. I think Josh Allen is obviously the biggest difference maker in this game. And while he is the biggest difference maker in helping us, he also absolutely kills us at the same time, if that even makes sense. Here he goes, and it's like overtime, right? We get the ball. We only let the Vikings have a field goal. Josh is cooking. He's running the football. I wish he would have just ran it that entire drive, honestly, because I feel like we would have went down and scored a touchdown. He is just an absolute man-child. And while Mike Hartel puts it out there, he said he lost the game, plain and simple. Sure, he did, but also he put us in position to win too. So it's like a double-edged sword almost, right? Because without him, we're not putting up 30 points without Josh Allen. Case Keenum does not put up 30 points in this offense. Those 2 red zone turnovers were absolutely brutal. There's no doubt. And, obviously it was the game essentially. But are we in that position without him? Absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you there, Jake. He's in the game, and obviously that game, we don't put up the points that we do without him. However, I do agree with Mike. I put the blame on Josh. The defense did enough to win this game a couple times. And first of all, when they got that ball back with 41 seconds to go, to me, there it is. I mean, one play, play, again, you can say, who is it? Is it Morse? Is it Allen? I got to put that on Josh, and then you factor in the other interceptions that he put up as well. So I got to put it on Josh, but not all. You're right. I mean, there's times that the defense broke down. We talked about an 81-yard rushing touchdown to Delvin Cook right after you go up by 17. What a way to let a team back in the game. So there were breakdowns on the defense, but yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Mike.
Also, I will say this. When Tremaine Edmonds was out of the game, what they did to us was just, and I don't know if it's all, you take one guy out of the game and is it really that big of a difference? It might have been, because the way the defense played in the first half compared to how they played in the second half was just what a difference. Tremaine Edmonds makes a big difference. I think it's safe to say that, right? I mean,
yeah,
with him in the game, he was playing excellent football. The defense looked good. And he was taking away the middle of the field when he wasn't in there. And I love Tyrell Dotson, but he ain't the same player. He really isn't. So I think it's safe to say, without Tremaine Edmonds on the field, we definitely hurt. It definitely hurts us for sure.
Yeah, I agree, Jake. He was playing a fantastic game. I felt he was going to have an interception, just went through his hands.
I know.
And great in coverage. Things were going well. And you're right. When he went out, there did seem to be a slight change after that. But again, I felt that they did enough afterwards. And it came down to Jefferson and Cousins. Those throws were amazing. Absolutely, like perfectly while he was making his break. And Jefferson, they were contested by our corners. Yeah. It's weird. Like in years past, you'll be like, our corners are just letting guys get wide open. That just doesn't happen with the Bills. They're on them. But when you have a very talented wide receiver like Jefferson, man, you're just going to lose those battles. I felt like I was watching Jerry Rice back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
When they'd have 2-3 guys on someone, and he was still destroying you and taking over that game. And Jefferson kind of did. And I mean, to Stephon Diggs' credit, Stephon Diggs had a great game, 12 for 128. He didn't get that touchdown you talked about. And then Jefferson had 10 for 193 and that one touchdown. And by the way, did anyone see the little fake injury, the little hammy? I don't know about you guys, but immediately I thought that is a knock on Josh. He's basically saying, I'm going to fake an injury too, just like Josh Allen and the Bills faked all week, because Josh didn't look like he had any type of problem throwing the ball with that elbow. So I don't know how you took it. That's when I first saw it.
At first, I didn't think that. I actually thought maybe there was a serious issue or an injury. But then you texted me that, and I'm like, maybe it was, because then he came back out and he was totally fine. So, yeah. Yeah,
let's get caught up here a little bit. We got Brian Label, who we haven't seen in a while. It's good to see you, Brian. You're absolutely right. Bills will be fine. And I have that on my notes here, the 7-6. Last year at this time, through 9 games, we were 6-3.
Yep.
we then got to 7-6, and we were not in first place in the AFC East. It was actually the New England Patriots because they beat us in that hurricane game, whatever you want to call it. But we end up coming back, winning the next 4, won the division, and then you saw what happened. Now, I think part of the most disappointing thing for me is I really felt that we would need the top seed, the overall seed. I just feel that just gives us a big advantage going to the playoffs. And I'm tired of going to Arrowhead, honestly. But if we got to go to Arrowhead, so be it. All we need to do is get into the freaking playoffs. Look, we play 4 of our next 8 games against AFC East opponents. We play 3 of them at home. And then we have the split where we play the Patriots at home and 1 at there. So 4 of the next 8. We play all the teams that we need to play to get this AFC East on our side, and I still feel they're going to be fine. Am I bummed they're not going to get the top seed? I don't think they're going to get the top seed. Could they? Sure, but when I look at the strength of schedule, and we talked about it on our show with all the guys earlier in the week, when I look at the Ravens' strength of schedule, when I look at the Chiefs' strength of schedule, I don't know if they lose another game. Honestly, I think the only one the Chiefs can really lose to is I think they have the Chargers, and believe it or not, one of their stronger teams to play is Seattle, and that's it. So they have a pretty easy schedule throughout the rest of the year, and my guess is they're probably going to take the top seed. But hey, Arrowhead is home away from home, and we just need to get it done. We should have won in the last 2 years. We should have had 3 victories at Arrowhead, but just get into the playoffs, win your division, and hell, just get into the playoffs. This team is that good. If they just get into the playoffs, even if it's a wild card, any team playing them is going to be scared, and they're going to be able to do some damage. So you're right, Brian. Good to see you. Love that you said that. Let's catch up here. So lots of things coming in. Love it. You're right here, Sean. Josh at times played amazing today.
Yeah,
and
MVP level. There were MVP moments, Mike. That overtime. Yes. I mean, it looked like it was going to be one of those things, right, where he can just wash all those mistakes away. He goes down. I thought there was no doubt in my mind we were going to go down and score a touchdown and win that game. There was no doubt.
I know. So perfect what you said there. Red, white, and Bills. Let's see. He kind of disagrees with Brian. It's 6-3 year and 7-7 in the playoff picture. I was looking. I don't know if we're 7th. I think it depends on the Charger game tonight.
We're 6th. We're 6th right now, I believe, Sean. Yeah.
So maybe we fall to 7. But again, the only one who can keep the Buffalo Bills out of the playoffs are the Buffalo Bills. They need to get it right. They have the team. I watch your show, Sean. Great show, by the way. Red, White, and Bills. Go check out his content if you get a chance. And you said it. They can still get this done. So I'm not worried about that at all.
I think the hardest part too is if you're just like looking from the outside in and you see that score that pops up and it says 33-30 in overtime. It's like, that's a pretty damn good game. The Bills gave them a good run for their money and they just lost by 3. That hurts a little bit, right? But the fact that we're up 27-10 and we lose that game, I think that's what really is hurting a lot of people right now and making us start to have doubts.
Yeah, I reached out to Rick, who's a Ravens fan, and the Ravens have given up 2 second half comebacks, big ones, 21 points to the Dolphins, and then I think they were up on us by 17. And I was like, "How do you deal with it?" He said, "Drink." I said, "Unfortunately, I don't drink, so I don't have that option." But it has happened, and yes, for our team, this defense, as good as they've been, it does hurt to see that happen. Like, there's no way when we were up by 17, I was feeling pretty comfortable at that moment. And I think that 81-yarder just changed the game. From that point on, the momentum shifted, and we just couldn't get it back. And of course, we still made a play to win the game, man.
I know,
but we couldn't get a snap.
Defense played bend don't break football, and we just couldn't get it done offensively.
Yeah. And then Brian Label saying, same thing last year. At one point, we were seeded 7th. RX Fly Fishing, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you in the channel, sir. 3rd and long defense has been awful for a few games. Yeah, this is a good point there, Jay, because, man, it's great. You see this defense make big plays. They get them in 4th and 18, 3rd and long, and then they give up that 3rd and long or that 4th and long. It's been a little disappointing for sure. It's not something we're used to seeing.
I would say so. I'm reading some of the comments here. Mike Hartel saying Browns could win easily next week. I'm just thinking about this. I think it's not time to panic right now, but I do think if we lose to the Browns next week, might be time to sound the alarms. So let's pump the brakes until next week happens. If we get a big win next week, we'll get back on the rails.
Yeah, like we have the Browns coming to town, and then we go to Detroit. 2 games we should win, and if we don't,
Right.
You're right. Push the panic button. Right. If we win those games, we're 8-3. We're 8-3, and I'm liking that.
Yeah.
I think looking back, I'd like to look at our predictions on all of us. Like Jake, you, me, and Sean, and you and me did our own prediction. How many losses we'd have in the year. I think you and I came out with 3 losses. Well, we're already there. In theory, if you were to look at our schedule, we could run the table if we were playing at the level we thought we were. But I don't think we're going to hit the 3. But I'm seriously, if we looked back through 9 games, I think we had at least 2 losses. We might be right where we were predicting them to be.
I had us at right now at this point. I had us at 7-2. The only losses I had were Green Bay and Baltimore, and we won both those games. Ironically, we lost to the Dolphins and Jets, which I thought were both easy wins, but did not happen. And then we lost today, of course.
Yeah, and we got here. Let's see. Big L says, I think Vaughn could have helped in the gang tackling to prevent them getting extra yards after initial contact. Any thoughts on that comment there?
Yeah, I would say the tackling has not been great. It has been pretty poor, actually, the last few weeks. So we got to figure that one out. That's part of the reason why these teams are having those second effort plays. Even the KJ Osborne play where he gets that first down late in the game, that was a killer, right? It was a great second effort by him, but that should have been a stop right at the line of scrimmage. There's no reason to get 2 yards and a first down there. So that, a lot of plays like that happened today.
We got TK11 coming in saying, New York Jets, baby, you guys have to play 3 divisional games in a row. You're not going to win them.
Hey, we're both looking up right now to the Dolphins, so not so fast on your end either.
Yeah, exactly.
But I respect it. Hey, they're ahead of us in the division. They won a big game last week against us, did all they wanted to do against us. They were playing bully ball football, ran the same play 3 times in a row. We got to figure it out, Mike.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Let's go to Mike Hart. What is he saying? This ain't last year. Last year, the players had confidence in the coaching, and the QB kept getting better each week. They can't say that this year. So, yeah, Josh is definitely taking a step back for sure. I know that pains us all to hear. I don't know if they've lost confidence in the coaching, but again, I'm not ready to press the panic button. You can say, yeah, they should have pushed the panic button last week. They should have pushed the panic button 2 weeks ago after that bad half by the Packers. But 6-3, and we still got a shot at the playoffs. So what are we talking about here? Again, I know this is painful. This is a terrible loss, one of the worst in the history. I mean, I can go back since I always say this. I can go back to 1974 when I was a Bills fan for the first time, remembering that I was a Bills fan, and all the pain that I've been through. This is another one, and it's right up there for sure. I mean, when you can't execute a snap to your quarterback, that happens. We're here. It's a different story on the show right now. It's a different story. Yeah, we're kind of complaining about certain things, but we're celebrating a win. So get the fundamentals down, and this team will be fine. I'm not ready to push the panic button. I just am not.
Look at our losses, Mike. We lost to the Dolphins by 2 points, lost to the Jets by 3, and we lost to the Vikings by 3. Which, I mean, there were moments there, right? We're in control, and it's just finishing those games. And good teams finish games. Right now we're not a great team. I think we're still a good team. We're not a great team, and it's not like we're losing to chump teams either. I mean, we're playing good football teams. So it's not like we lost to the Jags, 9-6 to the Jags. These are still good football teams that we're losing games to at the very least. Just trying to extract some positivity here. But I know it's tough right now. It's really tough.
Let's see. Here's our Jets we got Adam in there. So we got some Jets
I love the Jets fans coming in. Yeah,
I love it too.
Give it all to us. Listen, you guys got a big dub last week. Shout out to you guys up front. I doubted those interior offensive linemen. They played a hell of a football game.
Yeah, and then let's see here. TK comes back. Guys, what you should be panic about is some teams started out well and they're trending downward. Other teams started out slow and they're trending
No, that's
upward.
absolutely right. I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of teams out there that had super high expectations I guess think about some of the teams that started off a little slower that were supposed to be good, like the Ravens, and even you could say maybe the Chiefs. There were some moments with them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're all on the upwards slope, right? And right
Yeah.
now we're trending downwards, definitely.
Yeah. So again, we got like I said, Cleveland and Detroit next 2 weeks.
Could be two like good confidence booster games, but I'm not ready to say that about any team at this point right
No,
now, Mike.
not at all. And we have Cleveland at home. That'll be a
Yeah.
big test. Obviously, they have a good running game, a very good running game, which we've struggled against. So it'll be a huge test there for sure. And I
Yeah.
love it. We got Jets fans. It sounds like we got a Finn fan in there as well. So yeah,
I have a question though. I do have a
Yeah,
question for some of
yeah.
these Jets fans. How confident do you feel with Zach Wilson at the helm? Do you feel like he's going to take you to a Super Bowl? Can you honestly feel and say right now that you guys will not only win the AFC East, but do you feel that they're going to win a Super Bowl or win a couple playoff games this year with that team, with Zach Wilson as your quarterback? Because I would really like to know. Like, would you rather have Zach Wilson or would you rather have Josh Allen? Like, take Josh Allen and put him on the Jets. Who would you rather have? Should be an easy answer, but.
Yeah, we got CR Bones too. That was an ins game. I had 2 heart attacks. Yeah, if my dad has a pacemaker, I think I told him to turn the game off at some point.
Yeah.
Renegade saying kiss the home field advantage away. Let's see if I can bring that up here. Where is it? There it is. Oh wait, this one. Sorry. Kiss home field advantage goodbye. Yeah, we talked about earlier on. Like Jake said, we did a show earlier in the week. We looked at strength schedule remaining for the Ravens. By the way, we're tied with the Ravens and we have the tiebreaker, but they have a much easier schedule. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL the rest of the way, and they are getting better. And then the Chiefs have, what was it, the 3rd easiest schedule the rest of the way, Jake. So again, I do feel, home field advantage is not going to happen. It could. Yeah. It's not. We're not eliminated from that. But my God, let's just get into the playoffs and now let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Go Bills podcast. Good teams find a way to win crucial games, and we're not doing that. But I'm not going to go and say we're not a good team. BS on that, man. We don't have anyone who can cover a number 1 receiver. Really? I don't know about that. I thought we did a fantastic job. Just a better day for that receiver. I mean, they were contested. So all we need to do is also we need to find a way to stop the run. And you're going to have to stop the run next week because that's a big part of Cleveland's game. I don't know if you agree with a lot of this, but I'll throw it to you, Jake, and I'll stop talking for a little bit because I'm just not ready to give in on this team, nor will I ever. At 6-3, they're dangerous as hell. They're a very good squad. Get into the playoffs, and I guarantee you'll be afraid if you hear the Bills are coming to face your team.
I'm with you, Mike. I am. While I share a lot of disappointment with every other Bills fan out there, it's like you need to still take a step back. And I just want to remind you guys. First off, let's be grateful. I looked up a game not too long ago in 2009, I believe it was. We played the Browns at home and we lost a game 6-3. And we lost to a Derek Anderson starting team where he threw for 23 yards and an interception. Look how far we've come, first off. So to be in this position, we're blessed. And I get it. It's time to stop comparing ourselves to those drought teams. But also, just remember, where we came from. So this is a good thing that we're complaining and we expect greatness. So that's one thing to put into perspective. Secondly, I'm not ready to totally throw this one out the window. We're a 6-3 team. We can make this right. We can string together a lot of big wins, Mike. And I think when you start winning games and you start getting that winning attitude back, that's when you can get hot and you can play the best football that you're at. You win against the Browns, you win against the Lions, you do it handily, you do it well, you execute well on the plays that you should execute on. I think you go up against a good team at that point, feeling real confident, and you don't get smacked in the mouth. I think you go out there and you put up a hell of a fight, and that's how you win those games. So you got to string together a few here. We got to get out of this rut. It's time. Right now, it's a hard pill to swallow because I think a lot of people feel like we're sort of giving in. The coaching has definitely been stubborn, I think, in the second half, especially of these last 3 games. There haven't been adjustments made, and I feel as though we're almost letting the foot off the gas. I do also think that, Josh has not been great in the turnover category. That's without speaking. I mean, you can see it on TV every time you watch the guy in the last 10 quarters of football. But there's so many great things that he still does. So let's be happy that we have him, because again, if Case Keenum's leading this team, I don't think we're even in this position right now. Like, this is a big loss. This isn't a 3-point loss. I don't know if we necessarily even have a lead. I think we just lose the game outright.
Yeah. I do want to say, like, some folks think that getting that first seed is absolute must. Sean's saying that we need a rest. Talk to the Packers, talk to the Titans last year. They were the top seed, and they ended up went out and just laid an egg in their divisional game and lost, being a top seed. There's a lot of folks that think that if you're going in hot, you don't need a rest. You want to keep playing. And if you get that day, that week of rest, you come out a little cold, and that's happened. Look at the past few seasons. Last season was a great season to look at in regards to those top seeds. Both of them lost. What's up? We got. I love TK. She says, "Well, okay. All Zach has to do is grow up and manage to gain." There's been teams in history in the NFL who had so offense. I mean, I always talk about Trent Dilfer. Got a Super
Jeff
Bowl.
Hostetler.
Oh my! Oh, Hollister. You had to bring
against
that one
us.
Up. Oh my God, that's hard.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
And then what else we got? Jay up there. JL saying we came back against the Golden Boy. Are you a Minnesota Viking? Are we talking about today's game, Jay? Let me know, because I think that's what you're talking about. And then,
it is interesting, actually. Adam sort of mentioned it too, just talking about how he thinks Zach Wilson's better than Mark Sanchez. The makeup of both of these teams that the Jets have, and I hate talking about the Jets because we're supposed to be talking about the Bills, but we'll talk about the Jets. Jets fans are in this chat. I respect the hell out of it. You guys are here. You're watching us, so we appreciate that. The makeup of those two teams are kind of similar, right? Because that Jets defense was incredible, and they had two pretty good running backs in Sean Green and LT at that time. So now you look, they got Michael Carter and James Robinson. So a little bit different, quarterback, little suspect at times. Same deal with that team with Mark Sanchez. Very good defense. I mean, you had Muhammad Wilkerson, you had Darrelle Revis, you had so many guys up front that were just incredible. So it is pretty similar, actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah, and then Red, White, and Bills. We overlook losses. We can't. I don't know who's over. I have nothing to do but overlook this loss, right? It's not me or I'm not causing these losses. As a fan, the only thing I can do is look past this loss to next week. I can't do anything about it. Can't let it ruin my week. Can't let it ruin my life. I can only look to the next game, and I have full confidence in this team. Just like last year, this team made a run, and they were 13 seconds away from moving on to the AFC Championship. And this team, like I'm telling you, just needs to get into the playoffs. And we're talking about like if they're just going to be a wildcard team, they still have a chance to take the division. Absolutely 100%. And then who else we got here? Let's see. And then Brian says, what I wonder is how much does the Bills loss make Monday that much more difficult? I can't be the only one. When I lived in Buffalo, right. Brian, I always tell people I used to work at one of the malls out there, and whenever it was a loss on Sunday, business was down for a lot of stores. Well, you had two things. Either people went out and spent a lot of money because they had to get things off their mind, but it felt like where I was working, business was always down. People were bummed and not spending money.
The bars make a lot of money after a loss. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. In my opinion, the old Bills never went for it on fourth down. Now they go for it too much. Need to get an extra 3 every so often. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to look back and say if they kicked that field goal, we might have won that game. But like Jake said earlier, it might have just changed how the Vikings had to attack us.
It's a 2-score game regardless. I'm okay with the aggressive play call. And I get where Josh is coming from. He talked about it in the press conference. It's like either take a tough sack or do you just throw the ball to the end zone and hope for a play? Because there was no room for him to run either on that play. The biggest difference maker with that was just the fact that Pat Peterson took it back for, like a 40-yard interception return.
Yeah, I agree there. So I love all this interaction today. I think all of you who are Bills fans and non-Bills fans, we always are a channel that loves to have the other team come in, and you deserve it. If you're a Vikings fan, kudos to you. I thought Kirk Cousins played a fantastic game. absolutely
Kirk put his
fantastic.
nuts on the table, man.
He
He
really
played a
did.
hell of a game today. He did.
And I even said that, he's not going to be that guy who's going to run on you, but man, that one play, he took off, and he's like, you could see it in his eyes. He's like, I'm going for this. I think I get the touchdown. Kirk Thuggins.
That's what they call him, Mike.
He's going to be celebrating on the plane again tonight.
Yeah, I saw a picture. It was like him wearing 5 different chains on the airplane on the way back home. Wild.
Yeah. Congrats to Vikings, by the way. Yep, Mike Hart saying that. Let's see. What's Mike saying? After 13 seconds this year, was all about getting first seed this year, and now JA threw the last 2 games away.
Literally, yes, you're right. You're right. You're not wrong on that.
Nope. And then what has he got here? CR Bones, too. This is what I know. My team has 15-1 and no Super Bowl. My team has been 15-1 and no Super Bowl. If you've been choking for 60 years, you would be purple, too.
The Vikings actually do have a very similar past to us. They also have won 4 Super Bowls. They're the only franchise, I believe, to have lost 4 Super Bowls. They weren't all in a row, but they also, they've had their fair share of misery. So they do share in that with us a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, Monroe out there. We got a Vikings fan. Love it. Probably one of the greatest regular season game of all time. We were saying that, the Bills, unfortunately, have been in a lot of these great games that fans look at it and like, man, that was the best playoff game I've ever seen in my life against the Chiefs. This one of the best regular season games I've ever seen. Unfortunately for us Bills fans, we're on the losing end of that, and it doesn't feel as good. But yeah, from an outside a fan's perspective, fantastic game. Like I said, I had people blowing up my phone. Oh my God, Mike, what a game. This is unreal. And then we had people out in the channel there say, I almost had 2 heart attacks throughout this game. So crazy. And then we got
I did a health check on myself here, Mike. I looked at my Apple Watch, my health, and it shows your average heart rate, right? And you can look at the hours of like where your heart rate was, what the average was, and whatnot. From the hours of like 3 to 4, which is obviously the second half, my heart rate spiked, and the average. So I'm not calling myself an athlete, but my average heart rate is like in the low 50s, right? So average heart rate for that hour alone, 94. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it was off the charts.
We can't leave you alone in that cellar any longer. I mean, when it's just you, because I know this is rare for you. It was just you. Wife was upstairs with the baby. Normally you have some people over for the game. I guess I'm going to have to check on you more often because that worries me. Let's see. What's got? We got TK saying, well, I respect you guys. You love your football team. The Bills, I understand. I'm passionate, and I love the Jets. We haven't been good in a long time, so this is special to me.
Yeah, I feel that.
I totally understand that, TK. And then what else we got here? Got a lot of folks chatting in. Losses against teams with a combined record of 21-7. Technically, the strength of losses is pretty good. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, too. It's not like we're losing to these chump teams, and every game has been close, at least. It's not like we're getting blown out. And I know a loss is a loss, and it sucks. And I think the matter we lost this, like being up 27-10, it definitely stings a lot more. But you got to still put things into perspective. This is still a very good football team that we lost to. The Bills, I think, are good, but we're still our own worst enemies, plain and simple.
Yeah, we got another Vikings fan for decades. Love that. I'm still a wait-and-see stance after all the years of heartbreak, which is kind of same thing for us. Great game today, and hope to see you in February match. I would love that.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be great.
I would love it. So, again, thank you all. I love it. We have other folks coming in, other fan bases, which is fantastic. We're a channel that supports that. We love it. We lose. You were the better team today, for sure. Jets were the better team last week. If you're new to our channel, please comment, like, and drop a wooden nickel on our subscribe button.
Hey, shout out to Tom again. Thank you for this.
Drop a wooden nickel on that
Pretty
subscribe
awesome,
button for
man.
us. Yes, we had one of our subscribers make us some wooden nickels. And can you tell the story real quick? Because that's funny. Or actually, it's a cool story about what those nickels were used for back in the day.
Pretty much back in the day, businesses, if they didn't have like money or I guess, funds to pay for different favors or whatnot, they would issue a wooden nickel to patrons or like other businesses with their logo on it, and it would be good for something from that business. So like Tom actually gave a really good example. I got to find what it was, and I'm probably wording this really bad, but pretty much it was a form of currency back in the day, which is kind of interesting. So let me see if I can find that here, Mike. I got to read it. He did a really good job of explaining it. I'm totally butchering it right now.
No worries. I'm just going to read some of the comments here. Mike Hart, JA is immature. When will he learn that our team is good enough to win if he plays just an average game but doesn't turn the ball over? Yeah, you have to ask that question. Like, we felt that he was through past that, right? He was over that. But these last 3 games, there's been a regression a little bit. And yeah, he needs to get that figured out, because without those mistakes, this game's over. Bills win. Yeah. And then let's see what else we got. Chris Tebow coming in saying, I'm still cold from the game. Please tell me they won't spend $1 billion on an outdoor stadium. Oh, so Chris, you're
oh, wow. I don't know if he knows that news, but the new stadium is going to be outdoors.
There's a little more protection for the folks from the elements. It's supposed to reduce the wind. And I feel for you, but Chris, did Chris say is he a Bills fan, or is he coming in from the Vikings side? Anyhow, where were you at, Chris? We saw, it was interesting because I saw that some snow started falling, and if you looked at the weather reports, all that was supposed to be done before kickoff, but the weather came in, and I don't know about you. Once that weather came in, I'm said I'll take Josh all day in a weather game, but kudos again. I keep saying it. Kirk Cousins played a damn good game.
Yeah. By the way, here it is, Mike. So I found it. So Gallagher Boy, a.k.a. Tom, we appreciate the hell out of you again. Thank you for sending these wooden nickels. He said he was told businesses used to burn their logo into a nickel and swap nothing for a simple service. So he said, for example, it was basically saying, like, thanks for paying the bar tab. Take this chip to my pub for a free beef on weck. Kind of cool. Beef on weck, by the way, it's a Buffalo special. If you are not from Buffalo, if you're ever in Buffalo, you got to try it. It's basically just a roast beef sandwich with a Kimmelweck roll, and it's so damn good. It's just, it's food from the gods, I'm telling you.
That's the one saving grace after a loss. If I was in Buffalo, I have to take my boy and we go get candy. But if I was there in Buffalo, I'd be going out for some beef on weck, some great Buffalo pizza, and those amazing chicken wings. So you got some things to help you get over this game.
Drink in town with the sports problem. That's what it is, Mike. Yep.
And let's see here. Mike's saying, and McDermott can't straighten Josh Allen out because he has his own game management issues that he hasn't been able to fix. Well, I hope Dorsey is able to. To me, that's on Dorsey to get that figured out. And let's bring up Dorsey. I mean, we got off to a good start, and everyone was like, because that was kind of a big conversation coming into this year. We lose Dable. How good or how quickly would we be able to switch over to Dorsey, and would things be as smooth as we were hoping? It seemed like we were. I think he's got off to a great start. But what's your thoughts now?
We were totally ready to put that conversation to bed. And after 4 weeks, I was feeling like we're on top of the moon, right? With the only blunder being that Dolphins game. But then we came back and we won that close game against the Ravens. And it wasn't pretty, but the adjustments that Ken Dorsey made were so noticeable, and it really made me feel good about it. Then we have that Chiefs game. Well, we had the Steelers game, then we had the Chiefs game, and we were feeling so – we were on our high horse heading into that bye week. And ever since, that, and I guess you could say since the second half of that Packers game, there's been something off. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's just a more conservative approach, or just not having total faith in certain players, or not scheming certain players. But something's off, Mike. Something is definitely off. And I felt like the first half, again, with this Vikings game, it was excellent. Like, he did a really good job of calling plays. It was a very up-tempo offense. Josh was getting the ball out quick. He only threw like 4 incompletions in the first half. And the short game, it was back. It looked like the Bills from 2021. We had like a reliable short passing game going, and we were running the football pretty effectively, actually, too. And for whatever reason, whether it was the Vikings making adjustments, I think I'm going to put more of this on Ken Dorsey with just the play calling. Like, there were a lot of opportunities for us to take an easy first down, and we just overcomplicate things, I think. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but it is beyond frustrating. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I agree there. I wanna throw this to you now. I'm going to go through some of the comments, but I won't forget about this. We activated 4 receivers: Hines, Duke Johnson,
running backs. Yeah, running backs.
Sorry, running backs, right? And we felt like they were going to utilize them more in the passing game,
right?
And they didn't. So hold that thought for a second, because I'm going to swing that over to you and talk about that a little bit. Wallflower coming in. What's that represent? I don't know what that represents.
LOL, or maybe he's trying to say "Lil Dirty." I don't know.
I can't wait for
the local radio
local
skull.
radios.
So he must be a Vikings fan.
What is that? What does that mean?
Skull
I'm
Vikings.
lost.
That's what they say out there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Chris was on top of the flagpole freezing.
Oh wow, Chris, that's tough, man. That's tough. You're up higher too, so it's only colder up there, right? Brutal.
Yeah, Chris, there are some renditions that are out of how the stadium is going to be built. It is going to be beautiful, but it is not going to be domed at all. Sorry.
It's about 60% covered, so there's at least that news, right? So you got to make sure you get into a seat where you're not going to get totally killed by the rain or snow.
So Big L says get rid of the running game unless you use a fullback for blocking.
I agree. I 100% agree with that. I think, and I mentioned this in one of our other shows, Mike, when you have Reggie Gilliam in there, and it sounds so basic, right? Just running that basic like power I formation, right? If you have a lead blocker, I feel like more often than not, it goes in our favor. And actually early on in the game, I loved what we were doing a lot of pin and pull, moving the guards, moving those interior guys that are getting out in front. We look great. I don't know what the hell happened. It's just we were playing bully football at first, and it looked awesome, but we totally got away from that.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't utilize Hines. I thought he'd get more in the passing game. I really did.
Yep.
They did try to use James Cook, but not much happened there. Hines runs a 4.38. The dude is lightning quick. They did use both of them on special teams. We had Duke Johnson, who had a couple nice returns, and they used Hines in the I think in a few returns as well. But it was interesting because we really thought activating 4 running backs plus a fullback. Obviously, we're thinking you're going to run the ball more, but you're also going to do some swing passes, some short passes. When Josh can't find anything, just dump it off to the running back. And I think they started off trying to do that, but they kind of went away from it later in the game.
Yep. Yeah, and that was really frustrating. I mean, you go out there, you make a trade for Nyheim Hines, who is going to be this difference maker and a guy that can be that slot guy even too, right? And there's just no utilization whatsoever. It's almost like he was upset because he wasn't being used at Indianapolis. Well, then he comes to Buffalo thinking he's got a brand new opportunity, and it's been I guess the same or even worse than his time in Indy. So it's just terrible.
Yeah, by the way, Dable got his team another win this week.
He sure did. Yep.
Get the job done.
Yep.
So, I mean, we've covered a lot of things that were on a lot of our minds here. And we got someone says, find yourself a hot girl, always pops in there.
There might be some people taking that person up on that offer today. They just need to their feelings, they're in their feelings.
You want to go ahead and block her? I mean,
yeah,
sure.
I'll do that right now. Sure.
And then see what Mike says. Dable used to run that wide open pitch a lot. What happened to that jet sweep screen passes? Yeah. The pitch, what happened to the pitch? You're right. Because early in the season that was working. And I don't know. I think they just keep experimenting. And what seems to work in the first half, or if it is working in the first half and they see that the defense made an adjustment, we don't adjust to do something different.
Right. That's exactly it. It's like you got to play this like a chess match, and for whatever reason, I'm not a chess guy at all, so I can't even make an analogy here. But I will say this: it's like we're not doing things to counter their moves at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and for 3 straight games for the most part. Again, so interesting. Again, we got three games coming up. I'm sorry, 2 games that are winnable, and we need to get them for sure. Jake, let me. I mean, we've been all over the place. Is there any other area you want to talk about? I felt like let's go over to the defensive side real quick. Let's bring some positives. Who did you think played really well on the defense today?
Ed Oliver. He was absolutely eaten up inside. I mean, he's taking on triple team blocks, double team blocks. He totally took advantage of Eddie Ingram all day today. I think Jordan Phillips also played himself a hell of a game. I mean, there was the one play. I know he got called for neutral zone infraction on the one play, which was huge. It was, it gave the Vikings another half yard, right? It was on 4th down, too. Luckily, we got the stop with the Kirk Cousins QB sneak. Ultimately didn't matter, but whatever. But I thought the interior defensive line played pretty well today. I will say, I think DeMar Hamlin, for the most part, did extremely well again in the run game. He made some big plays. And I love the comparison that I think it was, Daryl Moose Johnson, what he said. He said it reminds him of Budda Baker from Arizona, that is a big-time compliment. I love that, and actually I love the comparison. So if he can be anything like Budda Baker, we looked pretty damn good with that draft pick.
Yeah, so why don't you answer Mr. Malchor? I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, sir. But why was everyone picking the Bills for Super Bowl win again? Well, everyone still picked the Bills.
Yeah, I think it's a case of a team just being overhyped. Right now we can't even think about a Super Bowl. We just got to think about our next regular season game. And maybe the players were, a little stubborn. Maybe they bought into that and they felt like, hey, this is, this team is good. We know where we're going. And I don't know. It's extremely frustrating to say the least, because I think we all felt, this is going to be a pretty easy ride to the 1 seed from here on out, especially after beating the Chiefs, but it just hasn't been the case.
Yeah, people are mentioning Hamlin. I want to say I had a note to myself. We found a gem in Hamlin. I really liked the play of DeMar Hamlin. He is stepping up. He's not Micah Hyde. Who is Micah Hyde? But this kid makes plays, and I am always. I mean, again, he led the team in tackles, 11 tackles, tackle for loss. He makes. I've just been so impressed. I do want to ask you, so people are mentioning it. Cam. Right. Cam Lewis hasn't gotten much play time this year at all. They make a switch, and I thought they might put Dean Marlowe in, but Cam Lewis gets to start at free safety. I felt he did a decent job. What was your thought on that?
Yeah, I thought he did a pretty solid job for the most part. A lot of people are probably going to remember the last play, one of the most crucial plays of the game, right, where 4th and 18, and Justin Jefferson just mosses him, just takes the ball out of his hands and makes that incredible catch. I mean, that's a tough play, man. I think for the most part, Cam did a really nice job. That's not his natural position either, by the way, Mike. He's normally a corner. He played corner at University of Buffalo, too. Practice squad guy, worked his way up, worked his tail off, man. And I think he did a pretty solid job today. So, and I will say, I think in terms of how he played compared to Jaquan Johnson, it was definitely an upgrade. I am still surprised. What's going on with Dean Marlowe? I don't know if there's any plan for him to play at all. So it's really, really interesting. The trades that we made, both Nyheim Hines and Dean Marlowe, did we hit on those at all? I'm not really too sure. And I think that's just based on us underutilizing both of them.
Yeah, I would say so far, no. But again, Dean Marlowe, to me, there's nothing special about this guy. All right, I know he played for Buffalo before. I know he's familiar with Leslie Frazier's scheme, but he didn't start many games for us. He didn't do well when he left the Bills. So I think Cam Lewis, because depending on where you look on depth charts, they had him listed as safety. He's been practicing as safety. I don't know how much game time he has at safety, and he's been a good corner as well. So I thought that was a fantastic move, and I thought he did a great job. Another guy for me, I don't know what you think, guys, and I'd love to hear in the channel. I thought Christian Benford and Dane Jackson played a fantastic game. I really did. I mean, yes, Justin Jefferson, who is a stud, had a game. But my God, I said they were all contested plays. Benford got an interception. I just thought they played very well. Taron Johnson played some. I mean, look, he had a couple plays where he got beat early on, but the guy on the run, I mean, what were your thoughts on the corners? What's the channel's thoughts on the cornerbacks?
I think there were a couple of head-scratching plays for Taron Johnson today, but he made up for it. I thought the play in the run game from him was better. There were a few plays where he just arm tackled and, he broke off pretty easily. Delvin Cook, that being that guy. But he's still a good corner, man. I think a lot of people are kind of giving him a lot of crap, but he's not bad. He's definitely our best corner out there. And then as far as Dane and Christian Benford go, we knew Justin Jefferson was going to eat up, and I was totally okay with that. I knew he was going to have a big day no matter what, because that guy you can't guard a guy like that. It just is what it is. All those catches he made, minus maybe 2 of them, were contested and tough catches for him to make. He's just that good. So, I'm not going to put that on those guys at all. Christian Benford had a nice interception today. Dane Jackson had one too, right? It was him and Christian Benford.
I think it was Dane. Yeah, let me look real quick. Yeah, it was Dane Jackson. So
I was going to say, Dane Jackson had a nice stop in the backfield too on a run play. There were a lot of good things that those guys did. And shoot, I mean, we're playing with these late round corners, one of them being a rookie. I give those guys all the credit in the world. But I will say this, Mike. I miss the hell out of Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde and Trey, man. To have those 3 back would be just unbelievable. Could you imagine? Seriously, could you imagine?
I know we won't have Micah, but we should get Jordan. We should get Trey. And there's still I mean, that's a whole nother hour we can talk about this Trey White thing. What the hell? What's the wait? What's the hold up? Who's holding it up? Is it Trey? I kind of said that earlier on the show. I've heard some shows thinking it's Trey White who's not wanting to come back. It's not the Bills. They want him in. I don't know. We could talk about that a whole hour if we wanted to,
We really could.
but if we still assume they're coming back, those are a lot of positive things. Trey White gets back here. God, they better make the move soon. Like I said, I know Bills is like, just put him on IR, put him off of the season. Why keep playing with our emotions? Just like they did with Josh Allen this week. Why keep playing with our emotions the whole week when, you know, it looked like his arm was perfectly fine, honestly. It really did. But let's see. We got the Chiefs fans in here. And yes, you are the number one in the AFC right now. Congratulations to you. Talking about you guys earlier with your strength of schedule being as weak it is, the remaining games that you have, there's a good opportunity for you guys to take the top seed. But hey, we've won 2 out of the last 3 in Arrowhead. We should have won 3 out of 3 in the last 2 years. So it's kind of a home away for us. If there's one team that can go into Arrowhead, it's us, and apparently the Bengals can do it as well.
Yep. Way to let them know, Mike. Now, listen, man, the Chiefs, they're the team to beat still. No doubt.
Absolutely. Respect the hell out of them. And that's so we got folks saying the cornerbacks play tough. Jackson 7th rounder. Benford, I'm telling you, man, Benford being a rookie, it's crazy. They had a rookie Booth. We actually talked about Booth early on in the season, like being a potential target that we would go after, along with Kyer. We got Kyer, which we were happy with, but Booth was out there. And I'm seeing so many young rookies at corner this year, and they're stepping up. They are stepping up and playing very, very good. I haven't seen that in years past. I think there just seems to be more corners out there playing good football coming out of college.
Credit to Sean McDermott, though. I do think him and Leslie Frazier do a tremendous job of developing those corners. If there's one good thing to say, and I know a lot of people are probably calling for Sean McDermott's head right now just because of these tough losses, man, but they do a really good job of helping those corners out and developing them for sure.
So I didn't get to hear Josh's press conference. Can you fill us in? What went down?
Pretty much. He talked about how, he has to put this on his shoulders. The team has to play better. And, it was very PC, same type of situation that most Josh press conferences are. You could tell he was dejected. He was down. He was upset about it. He knew he threw the game away. It sucks. I feel for him. He came out here and he toughed it out and he did his thing. He played football his way. He did it the backyard football way, which is the most fun way. I love that about him. And, that's the best part about watching him play, is just the fact that he can make a play at any time during the game. But the problem is, too, he tries to play hero ball, and it really, really killed us at the end of the game there. But I will say this. I'm glad we went for the win and didn't just play for a tie.
Yeah. What about did he mention Von Miller had another sack, and I thought he played well. I did think they did a great job protecting Cousins for a large part of that game, which we knew they had good tackles. We thought maybe we get an advantage, and Oliver was taking advantage on those guards at certain points in the game for sure. It was, look, friggin' Kirk Cousins, was it the first play of the game or a first drive of the game? He fumbles because he trips.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then later in the game, he trips again and just falls
backwards
backward.
again. Yeah, that was Eddie Ingram both times.
Oh my gosh.
The rookie guard. Yep.
Yeah. So they did a pretty good job at protecting him. So Von Miller also, I thought, did a fantastic job. And I think that kind of, and Milano, having Milano back, the guy is just next level. He's taking his game to another level this year. And him in the game, big difference. He played fantastic. I think he had 2 tackles for losses. So great job by Milano.
It is crazy how big of an impact our impact players are, and how, when they're out of the game, Tremaine Edmonds, he goes out of the game, that defense totally crumbles without him in the game, right? Yeah. You see what happens when Matt Milano's not playing too. Same deal. Josh Allen, if he were to ever miss a game, we talk about, does Case Keenum is he even a shell of what Josh is in this game at all? Maybe he doesn't turn the ball over as much. He's more conservative. He's like Alex Smith, right? But he also doesn't give you that big play factor either. So it's tough, man. You have these guys that you need to be healthy, and when they're not, it's an absolute killer.
Yeah. So Mike's saying J.A. Presser, yada, 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 same
Pretty
as
much.
last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because, what can we do, Jake? I mean, if you and I do bad at our jobs, there's repercussions. There's a yellow, there's a pink slip in our box at some point in time. But what can you do? I mean, who's got to take accountability? How can they change that? Like, you can't say, sit Josh Allen, right? You can't say fire Josh Allen. But I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, someone's just going to have to get in that locker room and just talk to these guys behind closed doors and have a serious conversation about this team should be much better than a 6-3 team right now. We should have won a couple of these other games. We need to turn it around quickly. And Josh Allen needs to be that guy heading up that conversation. And it starts with me. Because I've cost us probably the last 2 games. It does. I mean, you can say it's a team game. But when you look at it, Josh Allen with those horrible, horrible interceptions and that horrible, horrible exchange of snap from Morse cost us the game.
Like it's sugar high Josh, right?
Yeah.
It's that sugar high Josh Allen from like 2 years ago that a lot of people were like, man, if he could just overcome this, he will be the best quarterback in the NFL. And coming into this season, he was the best quarterback in the NFL. And after these last 2 games, it's hard to make that argument when you look at Pat Mahomes, right? So, like,
yeah.
I still think he's there. I still think he's there because his potential is like, God, I mean, sky is the limit with this guy. But he is in his own head. He's so emotional, and I think it hurts him at times. And he just feels like he has to put the whole team on his shoulders, which is not super fair to him. He needs a little bit more help. He needs some more help, I guess.
I almost think, part of me I thought we'd be okay with Case playing this game, and I thought that might be an opportunity for the rest of the team to know that they had to step up, and who knows. But now that Josh was in there, of course, I always want Josh in there. But, yeah, you're exactly right. We got some folks from Minnesota, again, Ron Skirty, Skull.
Hey, enjoy this, man.
Congrats,
enjoy it.
Yeah.
You guys won a hell of a game. I mean, that's one of the best comebacks I've seen in quite some time. It stings like hell because it's against us. But, man, that's shout out to the Vikings, man. They came here to play.
Vikings just scare him. Skull.
Maybe. I don't know. Harrison Phillips, how about him, man? I thought he looked pretty good, too.
Did he? Did you think
good
so?
Return. I thought it was a pretty good return to Buffalo. Towards the end of the game, he definitely stuck out a little bit to me.
Yeah, he does play that inside defensive tackle. It's not very sexy, so you don't see him show up on the scorecard too much. He had 2 tackles, right. But yeah, helping shut down that run game because they definitely turned things around in that second half and shut it down.
They sure did, yeah. And as Mike says, he played a hell of a first half. I think it's just figuring it out in the second half for whatever reason. First off, we can't take our foot off the gas, and second off, we have to make adjustments when the other team makes adjustments. We have to counter those adjustments. We're not doing a great job at doing that.
Yeah, here we go. Here we got Scott Plucker says, it's 2 years. We haven't won a single game where we've scored under 23. Chiefs have done it 7 times in 3 years. That's a great defense, and we can't win if we don't get 35, 3-score lead with 16:55. Nah. I don't know. I have to interpret sometimes some of these. It made sense at first. That's a great defense. Are we saying the Chiefs? Are we saying our defense is great? And if we can't win, if we don't get 35 3-score lead, are we saying because we had a 3-score lead? Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So we had a big lead, and we're not winning this game unless we put up 35 points. Essentially, which he's right.
Yeah.
Because the defense is just not that good. Like. We think the defense is good, and I think we played a lot of bend, don't break, but eventually that goes out the window, and good teams like the Vikings will capitalize.
Yeah, congrats to Dirty Harry Phillips. They should start cutting wrestling promos at the presser. The cream always rises to the top.
I love that.
I'm tired of we play every NFL game of the year, and we end up losing.
I know, man, I know.
It's getting frustrating. Yeah, Eric. Bringing in the Josh Allen jersey there. So let's see here. Here's a good question from Ryan. Good to see you out there, Ryan. And again, I appreciate all of you out there. We've got a lot of folks out there in the channel, whether you're a Bills fan, whether you're a Chiefs fan, whether you're a Vikings fan, We love the interaction with all of you. We appreciate you coming over. We'll talk game with you anytime. If you're new to the channel, give us a like, comment, and please drop a wooden nickel. And if you don't have a wooden nickel, a regular nickel will be just fine. You're like, what the hell's a wooden nickel? Josh, Jake, I called him Josh. I thought I was going to get through his show without calling him Josh Allen. He looks like Josh Allen. I'm sorry. I do it all the time. Jake showed you the wooden nickel here. But here you go. Ryan, good question. Would you like to see anything change scheme-wise against the run, especially against elite running backs?
See, I thought for the most part we did a really good job against Dalvin Cook. It was just that 81-yard run that absolutely killed us, because after that it seemed like they were doing whatever the hell they wanted against us. So whatever we did in the first half, man, I have to go back and watch it, but I thought we did a really, really solid job for the most part. I mean, they had like 66 total rushing yards, and then all of a sudden it exploded after that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that because you're right. Up until the 81, if we take that out of the picture, 66 yards, average of 2.75 yards per carry without the 81. Same thing last year in the Titan game. You take out that Derrick Henry, what was it, a 70 plus touchdown run?
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't let these big plays. I mean, after you just we just got a field goal. We just went up by 17, and to give up a huge score like that, this is what the Bills defense is supposed to do, right? They're supposed to make you earn everything. And when you give up a big play like that, it's just a huge momentum change. And so this is a good question. Do you still think we have a shot at the 1 or 2 seed, Jake?
Yeah, I absolutely do. You got to win the important games, win the division games. I definitely think right now we can go on a hell of a run, Mike. And it's hard to say that because, you know, we've overlooked quite a few teams this season, right? But I think now is a great opportunity to develop the winning ways again of the Buffalo Bills, to try some things out, to be aggressive, to drop some points on these teams that we should win games against and absolutely dominate and roll into these important games with a winning mentality. I think that's got to be what happens. And I think if we can do that, there's absolutely a shot at that 1 or 2 seed.
So Dutch Flats comes in and says McDermott is never going to take this team all the way. He's too soft. And
that's a fair statement. It's a fair statement, but also, I mean, he showed like he took 3 points to go up 27-10, and I think a lot of people were upset with that, but I get it. You're going to go up by 3 scores, sure. But then then we were aggressive and we went for it on 4th down, and look what happened, right? But again, as we talked about this earlier, at the end of the day, it's still a 2-score game at that point. So, yeah, it's just tough, man. It's so tough. I think coaching definitely was very suspect in the second half. First half coaching, man, I thought was awesome across the board. I thought it was great, but the second half, just we gotta coach a complete game. Not only play a complete game, but coach a complete game.
Yeah, I heard some folks say like he needs to shut some stuff down, like that whole karaoke thing they do on Instagram or social media. I mean, shut that stuff down. Come on, let's get serious.
Well, there's something to be said about him being players coach. You know, I don't think the players take this game any less serious or anything like that. I think it's cool interaction with the fans and whatnot. The fans seem to love it, to be honest. So I don't know, man. Like if you're gonna put this loss on them doing a karaoke session, I don't know. I don't buy that. That's
just one thing. I don't know.
No, it's fair because you think like you look back at the Steelers with the TikTok and all that stuff too. Like that's another, you know. So definitely, I get it.
So let's see what else we got here. I'm a Vikings fan. Shane, good to see you out there. I'm glad you found our channel. We love interacting with any fan base, and yeah, this was a great victory for you guys. This was they were looking for that statement game. A lot of folks have been saying, yeah, you're 7-1, and even I was saying that on the pregame show. You had only really played 2 teams that were over 500. So this was a huge, and you beat the Dolphins, who was without Tua. And if you had played Case Keenum today and won, people would have still been saying, yeah, you beat the Bills, but it was without Josh Allen.
Right.
Now you beat the Bills with Josh Allen. Huge signature game for you guys. Huge momentum booster and boost. And who knows what that's going to do. I'd love to see you guys get another shot at the Eagles. I know they beat you earlier in the season, but after this game and their momentum and their confidence level, I think that'd be a better game second time around. And I'm sure you're going to see each other in the playoffs the way it looks.
Without a doubt. And I feel bad. I will say this. So we did a show the other day, and it was just talking about the best teams in the NFL in general. We talked about the NFC a little bit. We were talking Eagles and Niners. Didn't really mention much about the Vikings. I think a lot of people felt like, and I even said it, potentially a team that should be like 5-3. And the teams that they won against that were good teams had backup quarterbacks in. So is it even a legitimate win? Like a win is a win in the NFL. So that's a 7-1 team. They came into Buffalo and they were down, man. They were down for the count. They did not look good at all in the first half. They came out in the second half, made adjustments. Justin Jefferson balled out, man. He put the team on his back. Kirk Cousins made some insane throws. And Delvin Cook, man, he found the opening, and he had like the third fastest run in the NFL all season, took it 81 yards for a touchdown. So hell of a job by them. That's a big statement win, and, you know, you should be very, very proud of that team.
Yeah, we got Jason Tremaine saying, we face the Browns, Lions, and the Patriots. I think we'll win 3. I think we have to win 3, and if we lose any of these 3, panic buttons pressed. Again, I said earlier in the show, some folks are pressing the panic button. I saw the same thing play out last year. We were 6-3 at this time. We actually went to 7-6 at one point. I still believe we're a better team than last year, although Josh does seem to have taken a few steps back in these last 3 games. If he doesn't get that corrected, big time panic button. And yes, things are not going to go well for us, but I think he's good enough. He makes enough plays. His defense is good. I'm still optimistic that we get this turned around, Jake. And these 3 games are going to say a lot. We get these 3 games, we're 10-3.
Yeah,
10-3.
It's a hell of a record right there.
If you would have told me we're 10-3 after 13 games, I'd have been pretty happy. Honestly.
Absolutely. Honestly, Mike, take a step back. Would you rather have any other quarterback in the NFL other than Josh Allen as your guy? I know he turns the ball over. I know he can absolutely kill you inside, just make your heart race and take you to the lowest depths of the earth based on some boneheaded plays he makes, but also the plays that he makes that are so damn good. Like, would you rather have anyone else at the helm? I wouldn't. So
I know you say that. I know you say that because you look like him, and I know you say that because you love him. But Patrick Mahomes, if I'm going to pick anyone, honestly, still at this point,
do you think he has the same success though with this team that he does with the Chiefs? Like, we don't have a Travis Kelce here. We also don't have an Andy Reid. We don't have an Eric Bieniemy calling plays. We have Ken Dorsey, who, all respect to Ken Dorsey, but he's no Eric Bieniemy or Andy Reid. Plain and simple.
No, I hear you, and that's fair to say. You know, he had Tyreek Hill and Kelce. You could have been arguing that for his success. This year, he doesn't really have a very good receiver core. He still has Kelce, and he's doing okay. Obviously, Josh Allen has the advantage when he needs to run the ball. Josh made some fantastic runs today, something that nobody else in the league can do. No other quarterback could do what he does. He's physical. He comes at, I mean, there was one play that he was running right at a couple, I think it was
Eric Kendricks.
Yeah. He took him
on his back, man.
And was able to get that extra yard or 2 for the first down.
Yeah.
But I will say this. The only thing with Mahomes, dude, he doesn't throw those interceptions. And that's what's killing us. So that's the only thing I would have to say is
he had a little time, like there was a little streak for him though too. He had a little bad streak of luck as well early on in the season. He came together though. He's tied it up quite a bit. But even so, I mean, they beat the Jags 27-17. They let the Jags hang around for a little bit today too. I know they're still a much better team, but I'm just trying to, I'm comparing the two here.
Yeah. Scott's out there. Sorry, talk text. Get healthy. Get to 7-3 as fast as possible. You can't overcome your entire secondary being out. Why Cam Lewis today? And oh, by the way, you're playing safety, which he's never done before. Yeah, we do know he's been practicing, but in a real game time, no.
It's totally different.
But we already said he did a very good job. He actually did. I think he did a much better job than what Daquan Johnson's been doing the past couple of weeks, and thought he did pretty good today. But you're right. I feel like, again, the big news is Trey White. When you're going to get back, right? We hope Poyer will be back at some point. When you going to get back, Poyer? Things look good as far as, and I feel like we're getting healthy. Now, I am concerned about the Edmonds groin injury. That sucks. I mean, he was, like you said, he was playing really well in this game.
Brutal.
And to lose him, something happened at that point. Dotson, obviously not the linebacker that Edmonds is. That was clear in that game for sure.
Yeah, hands down.
We got Jason. Yeah, he's kind of similar to Brett. Yeah, there's been a lot of comparisons to Brett Favre. Brett Favre as great as he was, he still made those stupid throws from time to time. And yes, Josh has been known to
That's
do
why
that.
he's got the most interceptions of all time, So you take the good with the bad, right?
Yep. And does Josh miss stable? Great point, Dutch. We talked about this a little bit. Like Dorsey, we thought maybe it was smooth at first, and everyone was there was a lot of people outside of Buffalo saying the Bills, they're not even talking about the fact that they lost their offensive coordinator. They just think it's going to just be another day in the park when Dorsey takes over, and to some degree that was the case. But now we're questioning things, right? We're seeing we didn't make adjustments in the last 2.5 games when the other team made adjustments. We're all talking about things that don't seem to be utilizing, like underneath stuff, more screen plays. So
that was Brian Dable's MO. He loved that. He loved the underneath stuff. He loved the screenplay. And I think that's the biggest difference between him and Ken Dorsey. Brian Dable would take a little bit more of a conservative approach in the passing game, whereas Ken Dorsey, I think, tells Josh to push the ball downfield. He likes to run those plays. I think we ran like 4 verticals on that. One of the last offensive play for us there where Josh threw the interception. So that is a big emphasis for him, I think, is, trying to push the ball downfield. And if there's nothing there, just take off and run with it. Whereas with Brian Dable, it was definitely, I think, more methodical. You had a lot more crossing patterns. You had a more, designated slot guy. You had like that guy, Cole Beasley. That's who it was, right? He was the Mr. Reliable. We don't really have that guy now. And we're still struggling to find our identity, with that type of play. I feel like we have 2 guys that are capable in Isaiah McKenzie and Khalil Shakir, but for whatever reason, it's just, again, there's just no scheme for those guys at all. And, we started off hot. The nice short pass right away to Khalil Shakir, and Isaiah McKenzie was getting involved. I actually thought Isaiah McKenzie played himself a pretty nice game today. So I'm happy for him. It's nice to see him bounce back a little bit.
Yeah, I was just going to say that as well. I thought McKenzie did well, for sure. So we talked about the defense. Let's finish this up on the offensive side. Who do you think played well on the offensive side? I think there's still some folks that played really well over there. So walk me through who on the Bills offense you thought played well today.
Obviously, Steph. I mean, he went off. We knew he was going to have a big day going against his former team. He took that rookie corner to class and then some. Man, he's so damn good. That catch he made was incredible. And then, of course, Justin Jefferson had to one-up him and make that insane grab on 4th and 18 for them. But, man, Steph Diggs, he's unbelievable. And, he's going to join rare company, Stevie Johnson, probably next week as the only receiver in Bills history to have 3 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. So thank God we have him, Mike, because I'll tell you this, without him, I don't know. It might be tough. Without him and Josh Allen, what is this offense? Nothing, right?
Yeah, good point.
I will say I was very, very happy with Gabe Davis today. I think he played a really good game. He had 93 yards and a touchdown. Made a tough catch at the end of the game there. Surprised that wasn't reviewed. We're very lucky on that. That's definitely a misblown call by the refs.
I don't know. I looked at it. I didn't, again, I'll have to watch the all-22. At first glance, it looked like, I don't think they could have overturned it with the angles I saw, but you're right. It could have easily. But from what I saw, I didn't think so. But you're right. Big bounce back from Gabe, 6 for 93 and a touchdown. Thought he did pretty well. I don't think he had any drops this game. He had been struggling with some drops. Yeah. So that was a nice bounce back game. And I think I want to say this. This is pretty funny. I think Tom nailed it. Josh pulled a Kirk Cousins against Kirk Cousins.
That's spot on, man. You couldn't have said that any better.
So good.
Kirk almost found a way. I mean, like, end of the game, right? He does the QB sneak and he doesn't get there, and we're like, here we are again, right? Kirk Cousins can't win the big games. He's like, his record is ridiculous, like in these situations, But for whatever reason, this season the Vikings have found a way to pull it out. So again, they did a great job. So but that's a hilarious comment. And don't be sorry about this, Dutch. I think you're spot on. Absolutely, we're missing him. I mean, there's a reason why he caught 80 balls last year when he was on a decline. I mean, the guy was unbelievable. Literally played with a broken fibula, and a lot of people don't want to call that out because there's some controversy around him. He was a hell of a football player. I don't care about his personality off the field. The guy delivered every single time. Mr. Third Down. I mean, he'd make those tough grabs. He played hurt. He was a tough, gritty player. And we're missing that element to this offense right now for sure. But I do think there's a way to scheme both Khalil Shakir and Isaiah McKenzie into the game. You saw it in the first half with Isaiah McKenzie, at least, and there was none of that in the second half.
No, Beasley's available. Let's pick up the phone.
Well, he's technically retired, so he signed with the Bucs.
Brady retired too. I mean,
oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I don't know. Have we burnt the bridge with Cole Beasley, because he says he's glad he's not in Buffalo right now. He's kind of pretty boisterous on social media about that right now.
Really? I don't know. Money talks. Maybe a little call. And
that's right. I'm sure him
that.
and Josh. I'm sure they're good still. So
yeah,
maybe that's all it'll take.
Mike Hart says this is absolutely true. They get ready for a 4-quarter brawl with the Browns. Yeah, they're a physical run team.
They are.
And yeah,
they also have a very good front four, and we've really struggled against teams with a good front four. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Big L's out there. I'd like Josh to call his own plays for a quarter to see if that would work out better. Trial and error. What's your thoughts on Josh saying, "Let me take it over for a quarter"? There, Dorsey.
I kind of love it, actually. I think that'd be fun to watch. Josh going, fast pace, high tempo. Could get a little ugly, because maybe with him, he becomes that sugar high Josh again. I think there is something to be said about our OC keeping him in check at times. Kind of slowing things down for him. But also, when Josh gets on a roll, man, look out, because he's the most dangerous quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so talking about the offense, I felt the offensive line did a nice job in pass protection most of the time. Josh was sacked twice, compared to Cousins, who was sacked 4 times. Of course, we know Josh Allen always makes that stat line look better because he can get out of the pocket. And dude, when Josh Allen goes out to his right, when he extends out to his right, look out. Good things typically happen. A couple of negative things happen, but when he goes out there, some of the plays he makes is just like, look out! Oh no, big play coming.
Way more good than bad.
Yeah, way more good than bad.
But Absolutely. I do feel like the bad is so much more significant, if that makes sense,
Yeah. Dude, you can have a perfect game. Consider this a pitching duel, right? You have a no-hitter. It's a 0-0 game, and you're going into the 9th inning. You got a no-hitter, 2 outs. It is the bottom of the 9th, and they hit a home run against you to win the game.
That's exactly
It's like, you just ruined everything you did the prior 9 games.
Right.
So
that's exactly how it feels with him.
It's kind of what we're getting there. And then we should say Jason, do you have an inside contact? Because please give us the contact. I tell Jake all the time, we've been doing this a little over a year and a half, and we should have some contacts now that we can call.
I got some connections, Mike. I can make some calls. We'll see what we can do.
We gotta see. So
none in the Bills building though. I have a guy that works with the Cardinals that I can call, but no one in the Bills, unfortunately.
Is it your cousin who works for WGR?
I do. Yeah, I do have Nate, so he can give me some inside scoop, I guess. But
we got to find somebody who can get it to the bottom of it. What is going on? Is it the Bills saying, no, we're holding you out? Or is it Trey just saying, I just don't feel quite right yet?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It is frustrating. And it's like, at this point, why hasn't he played? Why have we not just said, if you're going to continue to sit out, what's the point of you even being on the roster? Or let's just throw you to IR and come back again next year,
Yeah.
So
good point by Scott there, saying Mahomes through 9 games through 10 picks, but they
that's
won
what I'm
games
saying.
with 13 points, 14 points, 17 points. So everyone just kind of overlooked that.
So the rest of the team kind of picked up pace of play there. It's tough when you have a team that you can't afford to have those turnovers, right? So I think that's the biggest difference for sure.
Oh yeah. So Jason's saying I hope he is active. Yeah, we all hope. My goodness, it's been way too long. I really do hope he starts showing up here. Again, the corners, I felt it good. With Trey have been able to help out in this game. It would have been great to have him get some reps. I feel like, being a little rusty, not out on the field, going against a Justin Jefferson would have been a tall ask for a guy just coming back. So, but we need to get him out there and start getting some reps for him. And you've got some big games. I mean, they're all big games at this point, but you got all these interdivisions. 4 of our next 8 games are against the AFC East. And you win those games, you have a good shot at winning the AFC East. So come on, Trey, where are you at, man? Talk to us.
Gonna need him. That's for sure. We're gonna need him. So this Browns game is gonna be big. I think you got to get him involved. Got to get him in the game. Period.
Yeah. So I thought, just kind of finishing up the offense. I thought Dawson Knox played a pretty good game. I didn't have any issues with his game as well. It would have been nice if he made that play in the end zone, but
I know, man. I thought that was ball game right there, Mike.
Yeah.
Brutal. But I did think he played a pretty good game. I still think you got to have a little more involvement with him. Really nice catch by him across the middle too on the one play. I thought he played pretty well for the most part.
Yeah. Let's see who did Trey surgery? Charlie the Butcher. Isn't that a place that sells beef
Charlie
on
the Butcher?
rack?
Yep.
Yeah, Charlie the Butcher.
Yeah, it's great. Yep.
I know it's one of the top places. I've never been able to go there. I've been to
you gotta go.
And then there's Steve's Pig and Ox, which was close to where I grew up or where I lived, and so I've been there many times. Let's see here. What are the Dolphins saying? Dolphins look phenomenal. They are concerning me. Yeah, they're a good team, and I mean they're going to be coming to Buffalo in the cold. So they had the advantage last time. They played us in that hot, humid game. Jake was there. He said it was the hottest game he's ever experienced. Now they're going to come to a cold Buffalo. And hopefully we're going to need to get that win. We don't. Yeah,
we're not giving them heaters either. I think no heaters on their sideline.
Man, so Dolphins look good. And again, no disrespect for the Jets. I feel they beat us. They beat us fair and square. They got a good defense, and we've seen good defenses carry teams that may not have a quarterback ready for prime time. And Zach Wilson, if he just doesn't make mistakes. He keeps his team in the game without doing what Josh Allen just did today. That defense can bring home a game, just like our defense could bring home a game. Josh, rely on our defense sometimes. They're good. You don't have to be Superman all the time. So I think that kind of wraps it up from the offensive side. Was anyone else you wanted to mention in particular?
I wish I would have seen some more James Cook. The cook-off could have been so much better. I think early on, James was looking pretty solid, and then we just totally abandoned the run game altogether. And I get it. Like, you can only beat a dead horse for so long about the run game and this, that, and other. And the problem is, I feel like we always start off with a pretty solid run game, and we were getting things done up front too. Like the offensive line looked incredible. And there were holes, there were openings, and I think the scheme was excellent. And then we just got totally away from that. And then when we did call run plays, it was in totally obvious run situations where it didn't do us any good. So, wish I would have seen some more James Cook, but I thought for the most part when he had his carries, he made the most of them.
Yeah, I felt like they were definitely trying to get him a score early on, trying to give him something to talk about.
He was close. He was close too.
But with his brother on Thanksgiving. But his brother's going to get the edge today. He's going to be able to have the good conversation on Thanksgiving. They tried. They definitely tried, and I felt other running backs should have been in there as well. So Jason has a good question to you. We'll let's answer this question and let's kind of end it. It's getting kind of late there on the East Coast. It's time is it there? It's 10:39.
10:39. Yeah.
10:39. So where would you put the Bills in the power rankings?
I think 4 or 5 is about right. You look at the top team, I'm thinking it's probably the Chiefs, no doubt. Number 2, I hate to say it, but probably the Dolphins at number 2. 3 could go a lot of different ways here. I think 4 is probably about right. 3, I don't know if you put the Jets there.
Did you say the Ravens already?
The Titans. Oh, I'm sorry. The Ravens. Yeah, what am I saying?
Yeah, but the Ravens.
I would say the Ravens at 2, actually.
Yeah.
So Chiefs at 1, Ravens at 2, Dolphins 3. I'll put the Bills at 4.
I think that's fair. I would say that as well. I mean, we dropped 41 points on the Titans, so you got to put them over the Titans. The Chargers are a team that just – what's going on in this game right now? Can you give us a score?
Let's see. I actually don't have it in front of me. Let me see here. I have Bleacher Report up, though. They're actually faster on stats from what I've
Don't
seen.
You have it on the TV behind you?
Typical. Oh, yeah, I got it on TV behind me, but I can't see it in the screen. I mean, I could just look back. Actually, 16-13, Chargers.
Okay.
I just refuse to look back because I'm looking at my own screen. I could just turn around. What am I doing?
That's what I was saying. Just turn around, man. You got 4 TVs that have a game on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So
not enough TVs, actually. Usually I have a TV on. Oh, I have another one up here in front of me, and I have a game on that as well, but don't have it on this time around. I get too distracted.
Yeah, I feel like, early in the season, coming into the season, I was worried about the Chargers, but they've been so hurt. I mean, they had both their starting wide receivers out. They're actually, did you say they're winning this game? They're actually winning this game against a very,
They
very
are.
good
Yeah,
defense.
16-13. Yeah.
So I would you put the Bills at 4, and then the Chargers to me are either 5 or 6. I still worry about them if they get healthy. They have a great quarterback, and obviously we know what great quarterbacks can do for a team.
Yep.
Yeah, Jason, I agree with you on that comment. Chargers been disappointing. I live around a lot of Charger fans, and they've been heartbroken many times. Every year, it looks like they're going to have a good team, and then something happens at the end of the season. But Mike Hart saying best post game podcast. We greatly appreciate it,
Oh, thank
and
you,
everyone.
Mike. Appreciate
This was
that.
fun. I saw a lot of people out there. I appreciate you like heck. I want to end like this. I want to say this. Look, we talked about in the pregame show. We talked about cancer survivors, right? We talked about the Sabres last night having a hockey's fight against cancer. There are a lot of things that are important in life. Jake, you had something happen over the weekend. We love our Bills team. Sure, let it hurt, but don't let it take over your life. Don't let it affect your week. There are bigger things in life. This Bills team will be okay. We're 6-3. Do not count them out. And I don't care if they win the AFC East. All I care is that they get into the playoffs, because I know this team is good enough to be a wildcard team that can go to the Super Bowl. It's been done before. It's been done many times. I'll have to, maybe next show I'll put out all those numbers. I am not worried about this team. The next 3 weeks will be where I start to worry. If we can't carry the next 3 weeks, yes, you'll hear me saying, I'm worried. Panic button time. But I'm not going to do that. So do not let it ruin your life. Do not let it ruin, this is a football game in the end. There are bigger things in life. I know it hurts. God, I was that guy back in the Super Bowls, the 90 Super Bowls when we lost 4
Cannot
in
even
a row.
imagine.
Dude,
Can't even imagine.
Can you imagine after the 3rd Super Bowl, my family would always know, leave Mike alone for a few hours. He needs time alone. I was grumpy. Now I'm like, you know what? It's a game. My family's important to me. I'm not going to let this game affect my time with them. Now, my wife might be saying, hey, your podcast is affecting your time with us because we're waiting for you out here to go watch the show.
Oh, no.
By the way, Yellowstone. If you're a Yellowstone
I know
fan,
it's the premiere, right? Tonight?
The 2-hour premiere tonight.
Woo,
Gotta watch
baby.
it. That is a fantastic series. I will see all of you soon.
Hey, Tom, real quick.
Yeah.
Tom says, Jake, please don't say you flipped the wooden nickel. Hey, I'm going to leave you guys with this. And I know this might be a little polarizing, right? Especially after he threw the game away. But just remember this.
Yes. Absolutely. And Josh Allen, we trust. Keep trusting in him. He will bring good things. We're going to, Jake and I are going to be doing a new show during the week. We're going to just the winning drive, whether it's the drive that we think was the most important that changed the game. And we'll do a short show this week just to go over that. We'll actually show some film, break it down. It's kind of fun. We keep it short, but hope you can join us there. If not, you'll definitely see us next week, and we'll get this thing turned around. So let's go. Thanks again, everybody. Jake, as always, you're fantastic. Thank you so much. Go Bills.
Hey, go Bills.